Okay, so we've now got the basis of the rigman set up, but we don't really know how to control it at the moment because, selecting the joints isn't really doing anything too nice, and we've got this huge big lofted surface here that just moves everything. How do we have more control? Well, let's hide these follicles for a second, and let's hide the tail, and look at this nerve surface. This is where the control will happen. This surface is just like a polygon surface in many respects. We can attach influences to it and skin it to those influences. So I'm just going to create 5 joints. So let's go back to riggings, tab, create joints, and I'll just unhide this for the moment because the first joint I want to create at exactly the top, and then the second joint I'm going to create at exactly the bottom. And now I'm going to duplicate the joint 3 times because I want to have 5 points of control. So we'll call this one top, this one bottom, this one can be joint A. In fact, let's do them all nicely. This is not nice naming. So that's going to be E. That can be B, C, and D. There we go. Let's just move those above there. So I've got these joints here, so let's position them. So joint A, joint C is going to be halfway between A and E, so let's select A, E, and C, and do a constraint point. Now this joint's halfway between there. D is going to be halfway between E and C, so let's select C, E, and D, constraint point. And B is going to be halfway between A and C, so A, C, and B, constraint point. So let's hide those follicles again, and now we can see we've got 5 joints. Not doing anything at the moment, just positioned evenly along the length of the NURBS plane. So let's take that NURBS plane with our joints and hit skin, bind skin, selected joints, because we've got 5 joints that aren't in the hierarchy selected, and hit bind. And now if you move the joints, it moves the lofted surface, and in turn that lofted surface drives the follicles which are driving the joints, which are skinned to the tail. And there is your NURBS, your ribbon setup. So what I like to do is create some controls, obviously. So I'll just create straightforward circle controls. We'll group it. We'll call this tail A control. And we'll position it at the top joint, again using constraint point, constraint orient. And let's focus it on that control, isolate it, right click, control vertex. And we will turn on step snapping, just so we can get it clear. There we go. And let's just duplicate that out, and let's hide the tail again, and we'll position the other controls. So 5 controls. This is tail B, tail C, tail D, and tail E. And now each one of these joints can be parented to that control. And now if you select the joints, you can just hide them. So In fact, we can remove this nucleus solver as well. This is created when the hair system was created. We don't actually need it either, so that can go. So now I've got 5 controls that move the ribbon. So what I usually like to do is take, if it's a neck for example, I'll take these controls, or this B control here, and just parent it to the A control. And in turn I'll take the D control and parent it to the E control, because this would probably be the chest area, that would be the head area, so it's nice to have that sort of variation that, you know, when you move it, it's almost like a tangency control. You can kind of specify how tight that is. And that's a ribbon setup. So then you would integrate that back into your rig. So I hope that made sense. Any questions, please let me know, but that is this week's workshop. Thank you.